Someone once said, it is mankind and his activities that are changing the environment of our planet in damaging and dangerous ways, and it's no good squabbling over who's responsible or who should pay. We'll only succeed in dealing with the problems through a vast international cooperative effort. In her address to the United Nations in 1989, as on so many things, Margaret Thatcher was both right and demonstrating far-sighted global leadership. And that actually is what governments of both parties have done in this country. The Climate Change Act originally was passed with all-party support in this House, which set the original target to reduce our climate emissions by 80%, which was at that time a very ambitious target. And it was with cross-party support in this House that we set a more ambitious target to hit that net zero target by 2050. And I think that cross-party effort is very helpful because it sends to business and to consumers. It gives them the confidence to invest and plan ahead, knowing that these policies are going to continue regardless of who is in government, Mr Gray. Now, I do think it's worth just reiterating that we have made considerable progress. And it's not, as the Honourable Gentleman said, in order to pat ourselves on the back. It's for two reasons. One is to demonstrate to people that this is an issue that legislators take seriously and have acted on, that Britain actually has one of the most impressive records globally, and we've demonstrated the global leadership that both my honourable friend, the member for Truro, and former for my honourable friend, the member for Cheltenham, said. And it enables us to keep that pressure on globally for those countries that emit far more carbon than we do and are going to be critical in hitting our targets. But it's also to demonstrate to the younger generation that actually people in this place do take this seriously. And I'm afraid those that say, we can have a debate, and I'm very happy to have a debate about how much we're doing and how fast we're going. But anyone who says that nothing has happened in the last 30 years is being dishonest and disingenuous. And it's simply not true. Well, no, I'm sorry. That is exactly what I heard a number of those Extinction Rebellion demonstrators say, being interviewed on Sophie Ridge's programme on Sunday on Sky. They said over and over again that nothing had happened in the last 30 years. That's simply not true. And I don't think it helps this debate for people to perpetuate untruths. Now, it's perfectly true, and I think it's worth just putting on the record some of the considerable achievements we've made that the Committee on Climate Change set out in its report. Massive reductions in emissions on power, waste and buildings, because we have made considerable progress. But I will be the first to acknowledge that there are considerable challenges going forward, and the Committee on Climate Change sets out areas where we need to make ambitious changes on transport and on housing, issues which have been raised from members opposite. And I think the challenge for the government is to, now that we've legislated for that target, my honourable friend for Cheltenham brought in a private member, a 10-minute rule bill ahead of the government moving in this direction, and he should be commended for doing so, is now to respond with that detailed policy work, because it's with detailed policy work that we're going to make these achievements. And my final point, Mr Gray, is to say if we're going to deliver these changes whilst giving improved living standards to the population, the challenge here is about delivering the technology and the innovation that's going to deliver reductions in carbon emissions whilst delivering higher living standards for all our people. That is the challenge ahead of the government.